Apologies for the sound troubles we just experienced there. My name's Charlie Beale. I'm a consulting partner at 7 League. We're very lucky to count Twitch as a client of ours, and as part of the work that we do for them, have got to know the three esteemed panelists we have today. Pellan, head of distribution at Olympique de Marseille, Tom Hines, the head of media at Arsenal, and Luca Colombo, the digital strategist at AC Milan. And what connects each of them is that their clubs either have or will be very soon launching a Twitch channel. So those of you attending this call will be aware of Twitch, predominantly as a destination for gaming and esports. But in all three cases, the clubs will be actually using Twitch to interact with their fans and produce content that is in more of the traditional sports realm, rather than, but not excluding gaming. I wonder if I could throw to you first, Tom. Obviously, when a club is approaching being on a new platform, you need to make some decisions about where that fits into your strategy. What was it about Twitch that fits your strategic direction?
Yeah, thank you, Charlie, and thanks for having me, Sports Pro. Yeah, I think that there are a few things that come into play when we're looking at whether we're going to launch on a new platform or not. The really compelling thing for me about Twitch, and it's the reason I've been interested in the platform for a few years now, is that there's a very distinct user behavior on there compared to the other social platforms that we're publishing on, and compared to the sort of user behavior that we see on our owned and operated platforms as well. That dwell time figure that Twitch has, I think it's an average of 90 minutes per visitor on the platform. That kind of dwell time in the digital age, when everything is supposedly bite-sized and snackable and disposable, there's something very compelling and something very different about that user behavior. And then I think there are some unique things about the site as well, which make it interesting for us. That interaction with the live broadcast is something that happens on Twitch in a different way from how it happens on any of the other platforms that we're currently publishing video on. And because the content offering that we would be putting out to be successful on Twitch is distinct from what we would be doing on other. So whenever we're looking at our strategies, the football club, we have a number of different objectives which we're trying to fulfill across digital and with content. We're always looking at how those objectives are hitting up against each other, where the objectives are conflicting, and making sure that we're not cannibalizing our other platforms, platforms A and B, with something that we're doing on C. But because that content offering for us anyway is going to be so distinct on Twitch, it sort of sidesteps that problem as well.
And before we go into what that precise content offering is going to be, it would be interesting to get your opinion, Guy. You started quite organically on Twitch, experimenting with a number of new formats. What drove you to experiment with Twitch?
Hi everyone, thanks Charlie. Happy to be on Sport Pro as well. Yes, Twitch, we start being on Twitch last July, and we start, as you mentioned, organically broadcasting 2 friendly games during the summer breaks. And actually, we were surprised reaching this amount of number of views, and also the attention and the power of the platform. And we start being on Twitch because we did some market study with our fans, and we realized a lot of them are actually present on the platform in terms of gaming and football. A lot of OM fans out there, and our goal is always to reach even younger or connected target group, and Twitch is perfect for that. And when we start podcasting games, friendly games during the summer, we reach like enormous amount of views for us. And we broke record in terms of the audience in France with, I don't know, 100K for each game of simultaneous viewers. And that's why we were surprised first with the power of the platform, and then the engagement and the interaction tools this platform actually allow the fans to use and give us as an open windows with them. So it's like a video platform, but with bonuses like interaction, questions, chat, and it's like the perfect tool for passions, debates. So for us, that's the key platform at the moment.
Thank you, Luca. Your club recently announced that you will be launching your channel tomorrow. What can viewers expect from the AC Milan Twitch channel?
Yeah, it's exciting to be here and to participate to the launch of the new AC Milan channel tomorrow afternoon. And basically, we will rely on formats that are chatting about sports formats with both journalists from our team, influencer, music talents. So we will try to have a discussion around football, but in an entertaining way with also guests and topics from other fields. We will also have other formats more related to what is happening on the pitch. So with the reactions, the interactive press release. We will also discuss about the new upcoming contents on the other platforms. So it will be a way to expand our audience beyond what we actually have and shift from traditional distribution models to Twitch that, in my opinion, give more possibility also from a creative point of view. Of course, we start the journey now, so we will need to understand how to move in the next months.
Yeah, it's an excellent point. When I speak to clubs about Twitch, I think, obviously the very clued up ones know that it's not just an environment for gaming, but it's for multiplayer entertainment, and it's a home for any live interactive formats that bring communities together. But I'd still say there's a large proportion of people who just think it's easy to game, and also the other question I get asked is, what does great sports content look like on Twitch? And I guess you guys are at the vanguard of that. Tom, what formats are you thinking of debuting with, or what have you found works well to date?
Yeah, I mean, we've been publishing on the platform for 2 or 3 months now, and a lot of that has just been experimenting with what's resonating with the audience, what feels right, what fits the functionality. Our plans at the moment, and I'll probably regret saying this, but are for everything to be live and host led, which gives the opportunity for us to take advantage of the functionality on the platform and the way in which we can interact with audiences. And around that, we've been playing around with a few different formats. So we've done kind of match-related stuff, sort of match discussion pieces. We've gone to the archive for some bits. When Oba re-signed earlier this year, we did about an hour and a half stream, which was some of Oba's best moments for the club, cut into just to host and guest discussion around him, what he means for the club, how we think he's going to take us forward as well. But really, yeah, the discussion element, the live element, having it very personality led as well, is very important for us, and is an important part of of the bits of recruitment that we'll be doing around the content that we're going to be publishing on Twitch. So finding the right presenter who understands the tone, but who can kind of tread that line between conversing with the fans and chatting about performance and acknowledge that they're still a voice of the club. And also people who understand the platform, who are native to it, who have used it for gaming and can take everything that's great about the platform for gaming and bring that over into sports content. Because as I say, it's the formats are going to be unique. The approach that we're taking to it is unique, and we're learning as we go along as well. So the more people who can help in terms of the talent and guests that we're using, the better.
Absolutely. Well, but one of those people might be Guy. Guy, you made a decision as a club to invest in a studio. I'm not sure if we've got an image of that to hand, but talk us through your decisions around that and how you use it.
Yeah, so so after those 2 friendly games, we start discussing closely with Twitch and with the project and the strategy, having different content and different verticals broadcasted on the platform. We decided to build our own Twitch room that is within our studio at the training center in Marseille. And as Twitch is supposed to be interactive, that means Tom mentioned the importance of having the right hosts, and having the right host is not necessarily which is visual. That means is also someone who can embody the content and having like his proper space and like a living room where he can invite players, influencers, guests, artists, everyone who can participate to the content we broadcast live. And we decided to build these rooms. I don't know if the images have been displayed on the screen, but this is a cozy space with a lot of goodies and a screen when actually you want to spend time. And as he has been mentioned previously, but the average completion is around 20-30 minutes. People want to have a friendly space, and we build this room to host the content, to have this host embody this content, and that's why we start now to first having some commented live games for domestic league or the Champions League at the moment, where people are invited and there is some debates, polls asked to the fan, and then every weekend. Today is the lockdown, but before that, and I hope later we will broadcast again youth and women's game from the campus in Marseille. And same, there is the hosts and like a consultant, like a former player or someone from the direction. So this space is made for that. And then we have the press conferences, obviously, some legendary games. We recommend in a more Twitch way, and soon to be some original content with some analytics and interactive features, and everything will be shot within this nice room we built within our studio.
Fantastic. I'm not sure if the viewers got to see a picture of it, but there we have it there. It's beautiful space. Yeah. So that's designed to give comfort to your guests and a home for the channel.
Exactly. And so everything is, presented from that space. And this is close to the player because we are at the training center, the studio are there. So it's also friendly for them to participate to the live. Same for the coach or for any other people from the club. So he has to be cozy because you want to, you on Twitch, you're not watching something, you are participating to something. So you want to be also within this room on your screen, but that's why we have this idea of as we want to be close to the fan, we want to be the football club next door or something. So we want also this room to be the fans' room, and we decorated it with a lot of goodies and some pieces like shoes and flags and sharps, etc. Important for fun, and this is our own Twitch room made for for our time on Twitch, and we are, as Luca and Tom mentioned, we are learning on every day. So this room, as the content, will be improved with time.
Amazing. So, Luca, to what extent are you planning to involve your athletes? I mean, I know at clubs, the use of athletes is always at a premium, and there are a lot of content mouths to feed. Do you anticipate being able to get much player access? And if so, how do you plan to use it?
Of course, we try to do our best to engage them, to do content about also what we like, what they like. We have the lucky to have some players that are already active on the platforms. They're already using it in a casual gaming way. So it's something that we are thinking about, so that they are interested in doing something that they already are doing on a personal level. If we talk especially for the sport-related content, we have rooms to have our interviews and interaction with them. It will be a challenge to do it in a complete live version, but for sure we will start having special interviews that we will hire on the channel, and having our host and our journalist presenting them. We also must think that as AC Milan, that it's a club that has a very big history and many relevant and recognized legends. We will also collaborate with them in order to have, for example, react to some legendary games, having them some stories behind the scenes. And another way that we are thinking to interact with the players and get them on the platform, always relying to something that is interesting for both, is approaching them with recognized talents that are interesting for our audience, for them and for us. For example, music talents, and build contents around these topics. We would probably don't want to have them for a long time, especially talking about their pitch performance, because we believe that there are other channels that may be more effective and also safer in some ways to these topics.
Thank you. Luca raises a very interesting point that I'm sure you've had to think about, Tom, and that's around, well, first of all, understanding the balance between what you need to do in terms of the Twitch audience, which generally rewards quite an irreverent tone and quite light-hearted content, with the real politic, shall we say, of a football club where you're dealing with fans who can be quite vociferous, shall we say. How do you tread that line on being kind of relevant tone of voice wise, and then also dealing with the live interactive element where people can say stuff to you live?
Yeah, with sweaty palms, I think is the answer to that one. It's not a new challenge for us. It's a kind of it's a direction of travel that we've had for probably the last sort of 3-4 years, is to try and get more fan voices onto our channels. Try to push into that space a little bit more. I mean, there's no kind of magic formula. There's no process really that protects you. It's about trust. It's about finding the right people, and it's about trust, and it's about particularly for Twitch, finding someone who is going to actively moderate on there. I think that's the big difference for us here, is not having fan voices, and it's not about what we're discussing or how we're discussing it. The big difference is having a live chat function overlaid on top of that, because our people who we choose to be in front of camera, our guests and our hosts, they're employees of the club. They're trusted people. We have the opportunity to talk to them about where that line is, You don't have that with the fans, and neither should you. You know, you want authentic fan voices there. So we just have to set ourselves up from a moderation point of view to make sure that the chat is controlled. But I think it's, you know, I think it speaks to a kind of a broader challenge that I'm sure you know, all of us on this call and anyone operating media for a club has, which is that you have that sort of club identity. Certainly, you know, ourselves and Luca, you guys, you know, the clubs are establishments, and the clubs have a certain set of values which are very established, which are true and authentic. And the challenge for us as the media people and for our teams as the producers and publishers is, how do you reflect that same tone when you're putting out a press release on your official website, and when you're sticking, you know, flaming emoji stickers on your Instagram stories, and when you're setting up a casual live chat on Twitch. And for me, it comes down to the expertise and the judgment of the people who you have in those teams on the ground making those choices, and it's our responsibility as the people who are leading that on the club side to empower those people and to make sure that our publishers and our guests and our presenters are clear as to where the lines are.
Guy, tell us about how you manage moderation, because Twitch has some inbuilt tools around moderation, but as we know, football fans find ways around such things. What's your process?
Yeah, exactly. As Tom mentioned, there is a difference between a traditional video or social platform and Twitch, because you open the door of your clubs and you open the door to fans, but you open your doors to haters, bots, and what the best of what internet can offer sometimes. So yes, we do have a host, we do have guests. So the host has to be someone who's the reflection of the club during the time is live, but behind the scene, we do have some dedicated resources to operate and to manage the broadcast. So that means someone who is behind the scene, close to the studio, but is moderating the chat. Of course, there is some automatic tools to moderate the chat, like removing some keywords we don't want to be displayed on the chat, because Twitch is also a young audience platform, and sometimes you cannot have some kind of reaction or debate or something like that. So this person is moderating this, and also this person is here to select the question, select the comments of the fans that will be integrated to the live through the host. So he's also first moderating what's wrong, but also selecting what's right, because there are a lot of right things on the chat. We want the host to react or to exchange with the fans. So this person is there to operate the engagement tool Twitch is offering, but also manually to see depending of the editorial line we want for the live. So he's doing it. And then we have someone to operate the podcast and operate the breaks and everything related to what is visual. And so this is the person. And then we have like a production room where the camera, like a traditional production room, where the camera select and the sound is managed as a TV model, if you may. I saw a question within the chat is, can you do Twitch with one mic and yourself? The answer is yes, everyone can start a Twitch channel, but I guess as professional clubs, as AC Milan or Arsenal or OM, we need to put people behind that and to allocated resources, and interaction engagement are key for Twitch, because as it's interactive, you need to control this interactivity. So having someone just to moderate the chat and to interact with the host is key on Twitch, and then is traditional for TV or any other broadcast company or model.
Another key feature, Luca, about Twitch is the ability to layer on new interactive layers to what you're what you're broadcasting, and often these come in the form of extensions. Have you at AC Milan thought about how you plan to use extensions and for polling or similar?
Yes. Actually, we are planning to create formats in which we will ask the chat to participate, and for example, one of the ideas that we will leverage using the extension is a kind of tournament between some special clips, skills of our players, and we would like to use these extensions to manage the tournament, to have them vote, and to guide also the what is happening on the show. We strongly believe that, and especially in this time of lockdown, the supporter must be part of the creation of the show. Like the stadium, the choreography by supporters are part of the show. When you go to see a match, we can involve them inside the content ideation and inside the format with an important part. So for sure, all the polling quiz extension is something that we would like to use. And we are in a learning phase, so we will come out for sure with others ideas. But I will mention these to start.
Thanks, Luca. Tom, I wonder if I could ask you, one of the things that I had to get my head around when I was first learning about Twitch was the language that's used in chat, and specifically the use of emotes, and what those emotes mean to both endemic users who've been schooled in the world of gaming, but also those that you can create in a custom way around your own channel. Have you, as a club, thought about how you might use emotes to kind of differentiate between different users, or enhance the experience of chat?
I'm a 41-year-old man, Charlie. I'm struggling with emotes. Yeah, I mean, again, these are the. This is why it's so important for me that we have the right people, that we bring the right people onto this project who are native to the platform, who understand it instinctively, and yeah, I think we really are. We're genuinely scratching the surface at the moment in terms of the functionality that is available to us, and how we're using that interaction with the fans. We're coming at it. We have so far been coming at it from a quite traditional chat interaction and polls point of view. I'm excited that there is a lot of stuff on the platform that I don't understand. I only see opportunity in it. I couldn't tell you exactly what that opportunity is at the moment, but absolutely, as I've said, it's really important for us that what we're doing on the platform is native to the platform, is taking advantage of all the functionality that's there, and that we're coming on as Arsenal and performing and creating content and interacting with the fans in a way that they're used to interacting on that site. I think because of the way that Twitch has kind of grown and come about, and the type of content that works on there, the users of it feel a great deal of ownership, and there is a risk for us as big established sports companies to sort of stomp on in with our Premier League boots on and do things wrong. So we'll be listening to the audience and looking at what works, and yeah, absolutely using all of that kind of native functionality.
So I won't ask you what PogChamp means then, or any of the other very few emotes that.
We've only got 9 minutes left, Charlie. I mean, I could go into PogChamp for at least an hour, but I won't take up too much more time.
Guy, you mentioned that you'd used Twitch to stream some of your friendly matches, and that you'd got good good audience engagement, up to, I think you mentioned 100,000 concurrent viewers at one stage. Do you have any intention to use co-streaming as a tool on Twitch? And for the benefit of those watching, co-streaming is like when a Twitch streamer takes for example, your stream and rebroadcasts it to their audience, and that can have some quite good amplifying effects in terms of the reach and distribution of your content. Is it something you've explored at all?
Not yet, because as my friends on the panel, this is quite new still. But we have this in the roadmap, having co-stream. I mentioned legendary game. So far is not visual, is only vocal. But yes, this is the step 2. Early 2021 or somewhere on that. We will try a co-stream. Just bounce back on the custom emotes, which is I guess the most funny features for Twitch, because not everyone has the time to write down the chat, and offering fans those custom emotes Twitch allow us to produce and to actually offer to the fan is key. We saw that on other messaging platform or some stories platform, and actually we created goodies and tools and for the fans to react on the game. So we have a lot of that within our inventory so far. So that was the step 1. The step 2 will be the co-stream, and having someone not within the studio to participate to the stream, but having, I don't know, illustration. We've got that, but this is our way. I don't know if it's the right one, but we have illustration of players, like goals, animation, goodies. The stadium also is part of the chat, and it's all about Twitch is all about reactions. So it's those custom emotes are great, and sometimes I saw that last night during the Champions League games when we scored the second goals. The chat was full of custom emotes, and that was great to see that the fans are actually starting to use that. But of course, the moderator has to encourage Twitch to use the tools you offer to them, because you need to promote them. So custom emotes are great on Twitch. The next step is the co-stream, perhaps having a fan or a player from his home. But let's see this in a few months.
Luca,
Charlie, just to jump in on co-streaming, I think that's a really interesting space for us all from a rights point of view as well, and it's a great example of where, because of how rights cycles have traditionally worked, distribution, the rights agreements are catching up with distribution. So, you know, if we're saying we're going to be putting Premier League archive footage on Twitch, for example, you know, we're having to sort of navigate with the Premier League and within the existing agreements that didn't necessarily envisage functionality like co-streaming, how that affects club rights. Where, you know, is co-streaming still covered by club rights when we're not technically pushing that content out on sort of club branded platforms? So I think that one for me, you know, kind of highlights one of the kind of the ongoing not struggles but issues that we're all seeing as the digital distribution platforms grow.
Yeah, I agree, and not least of which is there's a mind shift change, and a fear in some people's minds about what people are going to be doing with my content, which doesn't necessarily reflect how young creators are behaving, and it doesn't necessarily remain open to the possibilities around it. I think there is, as you say, a degree of work to do before that idea becomes somewhat more mainstream. Luca, tell me, will you be doing any gaming related content or gaming adjacent content, given the nature of the existing Twitch audience?
It's something that we are carefully considering, and we would like to avoid to go in the professional gaming, the e-sport gaming with the players, the agreements that the club has. Because coming back to the promise of the channel to be entertainment for a sport-related audience, we believe that we can use gaming and esports, but in a more casual and funny way. So we are trying to build something involving our supporters, our players, and recognized people. So I don't know, for a big tournament on FIFA of the AC Milan supporters, something like this. But to start, probably we will not go strictly in this direction. Of course, it depends also on the trends that are on the platforms, especially in gaming. We all know Among Us trend and what happened, and it's an example of a way in which the game become an opportunity to make people interact, discuss, know the personality beyond the player, the host, the guest, and so it's always an opportunity to make them speak together and for the audience to know something more about them. And we are trying also ways to involve them inside the game. I can't say too
that's
much.
A good point.
You can follow the channel, so if you want to.
So yeah, don't give it all away just yet. For those who are keen to find out more, AC Milan launch tomorrow. But you make a good point about the game sometimes being the backdrop for learning more about a personality. I think the US politician AOC did that very well when she went live to play Among Us, and it was a great way of showcasing her relationship with her audience and subtly feeding in certain policy points. Guy or Tom, given we've got 2 minutes left, I don't know if either of you would care to talk about how you might do gaming adjacent type content to fit in with your sports programming.
Yeah, we've. I think it's the sort of thing that is that's going to help to kind of bring audiences across to the pure sports stuff. We've got an agreement, a partnership agreement with Konami, and have been working on some esports work with them around Pro Evo for the last couple of seasons. So certainly Twitch and the work that we're doing on that is going to play into some of the distribution support that we can offer to Konami around that. But the core of what we're doing will be sports content. I think we can more authentically tell our story. We can use the levers that we've got, which are the games and the match footage and the players doing that. So yes, we'll be using a little bit of gaming content, but trying to resist the temptation of doing too much, I think.
Thanks very much, Tom, Guy, Luca. All three of you are pioneers in this space, so I think I can stand alongside the rest of the industry in being very, very interested to see what comes next from each of your club's channels. Thank you very much for joining us in this session. It's been informative, and we look forward to tuning in live, interactively on Twitch to see what you're up to next. Thank you all for joining us.
Thank you, guys.